Hey, what's up, guys? It's Bye here again. So level 4 gate is about to open very soon, right? I think in about 20 hours from now. So with the level 4 gate open, we're gonna have some fighting going on very soon. And with that, I need to optimize on some of my marches, going into the next zone, right? So, I've been thinking, like, what commander should be pairing with my XY, right? So, I have two options I can think of right now is that I could either go with XY, Saladin, right? Saladin will definitely give him a little bit more tankiness right there, right? Because Saladin have a skill damage reduction, uh, tons of defense coming there. That can work pretty well in mass PvP situation, I think. So I will think of using XY and Saladin. And then I was like, is it better to use XY primary and Saladin secondary? Or is it better to use Saladin primary and XY secondary, right? So like when you're using XY primary, right, your rage requirement is only 900. And if you have a Z4 skill pretty high, right, maxed out, you can go down to 850, right? For my case, it is 880, okay? The rage requirement for me, for my XY to catch the skill is 880, right? So you can catch the skill very fast here with XY, especially with the skill talent tree that I'm using here, right? But like in the skill talent trees, the rejuvenate only gave you 60 rage whenever you use a skill. So if you have a two commander and you use the skill twice, you only get 120 rage right there, right? Only 120 only. And even with feral nature, let's say if you kick in once, then it's only 220, right? So I'm like, what if I'm going to use Saladin primary instead, right? Because if I'm going to use Saladin primary, right? So if I'm going to use Saladin primary, the rage requirement is 1000. But like because of the support talent tree, right? The rejuvenate here get me 150 rage every time I use a skill. So whenever I use like two commander use a skill, I can gain 300 rage total compared to 200 from XY. So I think maybe Saturn primary is not a bad choice, especially Saturn coming in with a lot of like defense, like talent tree, like skill here, right? For example, this one here can reduce skill damage. Very decent skill like damage reduction, I think, right? So support talent tree my work, right? Support talent tree my work here. So you can see this one here is the one I'm using on Saturn here. And the other one I'm using on XY here, right? Which is maxed out on the skill talent tree so that he can catch the rage faster. And they were like, okay, why just try to think here? Why not just put them into the test and see how they perform, right? And for doing this test, I actually testing with equipment, okay, to see a little bit better here, right? Like because like testing without equipment, it just doesn't make sense to me when I'm trying to compare the two commanders. So when I'm running the test with XY, SAD, and primary, I'm using the equipment here on my XY. And when I'm running the test with SAD and primary, SAD and XY, I'm using the same exact equipment set there on XY, right? So the two commander have exact same equipment. There is no uh, difference whatsoever. So let's go right into it here and go to the test, and I'll walk you guys through. Okay. So on the left hand side we have XY Saladin, and on the right hand side we have Saladin XY, guys. Um, so like you guys can pay attention to the damage right at the beginning, right? It's pretty similar, right? Not like a huge difference here at the beginning, barely noticeable, right? You do pay attention. You can see that XY can catch the skill, right? XY Saladin can catch the skill a little bit earlier compared to Saladin XY on the right hand side at the beginning, but I think um as a battle go, right? Um, the damage casting is kind of like the same. It's a skill casting time, right? Kind of like pretty much almost the same here. The difference is not like a huge difference there for the two commander pair. Like very similar in terms of skill casting time. Uh, but you can see that on the left hand side, XY Saladin can take down that Julius Caesar slightly faster. I believe that like the skill talent tree definitely a more offensive. Like it's like a more offensive talent tree that can help you cast your skill faster is one thing, but it also gives you more skill damage. If you're looking at the skill talent tree. Um, so that is one of the reasons why the left hand side, XY and Saladin can take down that Druid Caesar slightly faster, right there. And you can also see that they have a slightly more unit remaining. Okay. So let's continue watching the test here. You can see, right? You guys can also like slow down the video as well and just watch it at your own pace as well if you want to rewatch the test later. But I'm just gonna run the entire test here for you guys to see what is going to happen here. The left hand side is definitely winning, right? With XY and Saladin, right? XY primary, Saladin secondary. Definitely kind of like doing better than the right hand side, right? Saladin XY. One thing is that another thing you need to keep in mind is that if you're putting your Saladin as secondary behind your XY, you can definitely take advantage of that defense reduction from XY, right? So XY gonna cast his active skill first, and then the target gonna get debuff for 30%, and then Saladin gonna cast his skill, right? So that Saladin gonna be able to deal more damage on the target because it have a 30% defense debuff, right? Compared to when you're using Saladin XY, when you're using Saladin XY, you cannot take that advantage of that defense debuff when you casting your Saladin skill, right? I think that is the downside for using Saladin primary. Uh, but like I think like most of you guys know that I mean like XY kind of get target pretty often on the field. So if you kind of like worry about him getting target, then maybe you might want to opt in to using Saladin and XY. So for tomorrow, right, the big fight, I will try to use XY and Saladin first and see right if my XY get target often or not. And if he does get target very often, then I would definitely have to switch to using Saladin and XY to reduce some of the uh, people, or reduce the damage I'm taking from Z pair, right? So that is something I might consider. But I think for tomorrow, right, I will definitely going in with XY and Saladin as one of my commander pair. The original plan was to use XY and Genghis Khan, but I don't know. I feel like in like a big open field fighting with a lot of players at the beginning, I feel like Saladin will definitely help me last longer on the field, right? Because I'm gonna be able to take because I'll be taking a lot of damage, right? Um, so I think even though my Genghis Khan expertise, I think XY and 5551 Saladin is still a better choice for me here. I can try to do another test later on to compare XY Saladin with XY Genghis Khan to see how the two commander perform. I think I'll give it a try. I'll give it a try later and see. Okay, guys. But here I just want to make a quick video comparison here between XY Saladin and Saladin XY here to give you guys an idea of like why I'll be using XY and Saladin tomorrow as one of my marches in this KvK. And as you can see, right, from the testing here, XY Saladin definitely doing a lot better compared to Saladin XY. So yeah, like I just want to do like a quick test here just to make sure that I can like I kind of know I kind of get an idea that okay XY and Saladin will most likely be able to perform better than Saladin XY, but I still want to verify it here. I still want to confirm that what I think is correct here. By just doing like a quick side-by-side comparison here, guys. I hope you guys find this video helpful, guys. And thanks for watching, guys. Peace.